Hello and welcome back. In this video, we'll discuss hot patching your Rust code with Subsecond. Now, hot patching isn't something new for the engineering or dev tooling world. Many languages, frameworks have been supporting hot patching, but with Dioxys 07 release, where hot patching your Rust code is kind of a talking point. So, while building your Dioxys application, you can now edit not just your RSX part of the code, but also your Rust code and without skipping a single beat. And the major contributor there is Subsecond. So we'll dive into it and understand how Subsecond works behind the scenes to just get a understanding of this tool, which then can be used if you're building something on the same nodes. So without further ado, let's dive into it and let's start. Let's spend a minute and remind ourselves what is hot patching. Now say you write your code and then you run your program. And while your program is running, you edit some part of your code. And then you have tools that builds a tiny patch and ships it to the running program. The running program updates the functions or piece of the code which has been modified, and then changes are shown instantly. And most times you don't lose your state. So this is a concept of hot patching, which is basically very useful for developer efficiency. So let's say you build something, you're testing, and while testing, you find, okay, you want to change something, then you can change on fly and observe the changes and accordingly adjust your code instead of, like making the changes and rerunning the entire application again and again, which basically waste a bit of your time. So yeah, it's pretty useful for the developer efficiency. Now, since we know hot patching, let's spend a minute and understand Subsecond. So Subsecond lets you update running code instantly without restarting, so you can fix your bugs or add features without any downtime. Basically, Subsecond helps you achieve hot patching for your Rust code. Subsecond is basically a crate. Let's look at Subsecond with an example. So we have our main function. Inside we have a loop, and we sleep for 1 second on each loop iteration, and then we have a Subsecond block. Now everything that you have inside this Subsecond block will be hot patched. You have your print statement. If you add more print statement or you edit this print statement, everything will be hot patch and reflected immediately on your window. And all you need is Dioxys CLI. You don't need a full-fledged Dioxys project. You can just have Dioxys CLI with cargo installed DXCLI. And once you have Dioxys CLI, you can just do dx serve hot patch. And then you can keep on making the changes, and you can observe your Rust code will be shipped as your application is getting hot patched and is running. And basically you can change pretty much anything inside this Subsecond block and it will be reflected. So try out, and for now let's look at how Subsecond works behind the scenes, like how basically this hot patching works. Let's dive into Subsecond behind the scenes. So you modify your source code. Now the build system compiles only the change functions into a patch instead of rebuilding the whole program. So basically just build for that patch, and the patch contains machine code. So this step you have your machine code, and that machine code is only for the functions or lines of the code that you have changed. So now you are here with your machine code. And then from step 2 to step 3 happens something very exciting, which I'm referring to as thin link. Now Subsecond has a fast linking step. So instead of doing a full program link, which obviously can be slow, which is not something we need in hot patching, thin link resolves references only for the changed functions. So it ensures that function calls inside the patch know where to point without touching the rest of the program. So that is the responsibility is held by Subsecond's fast linking step, which is I'm referring here as thin link. And then from step 3 to step 4. Now this is the point where we have our binary patch, which is generated for our modified functions. So the generated patch is transmitted to the running process. Now this usually is done via internal Subsecond client-server connection. The program doesn't stop. It just receives that patch, which is basically your latest patch binary, and it's in the memory. And then from step 4 to step 5, this is where your magic happens. So the program has a jump table, essentially a table of function pointers used to call functions indirectly. So subsecond loads the new function code into the memory and updates the jump table entries to point to the new machine code instead of now the old machine code which has already been modified. So this is where subsecond basically loads the new function code into the memory and updates the jump table entries to point to the new machine code. And now as we move from step 5 to step 6, a step closer to get our hot patch Rust code, at this step, subsecond atomically swaps the function pointer in the memory so that any new call goes to the updated function body. Now one might think, hey, why atomic swap? Why just not the normal swap? So if you have been following my channel, we have covered atomicity in detail. There should be videos popping on your right top. Make sure to check it out. But just to summarize, atomic swap ensures that no running thread will call a partially updated functions, preventing the crashes. That's why we need atomic swaps here for the thread safety. So at this stage, everything you need for your hot patching is almost there. And since you have all the references updated, at this stage, all the next calls that you have goes to your updated code. So this is how hot patching with Subsecond works behind the scenes. I hope so. It's pretty clear and straightforward. If it is, try it out on your end and let me know in the comments what do you think about it. I'll catch you guys in another video with another interesting topic. Until then, bye bye.